A lot of people think that lifting weights is just for getting really big and swole and ripped, and that cardio is kind of how you get lean, and people want to do long runs or run on the treadmill or do Pilates or do some kind of aerobic exercise if they want to kind of lose weight and be thin and all that kind of stuff and be lean. Well, that's not actually true. While if you're like a professional bodybuilder, you'll go through kind of like gaining periods where you're lifting a lot of weights and eating a lot of protein and stuff like that. And then you'll do cutting periods where you add more cardio, eat a lot less, eat a little bit different mixture of macronutrients. While those phases exist for like professional weightlifters and bodybuilders, the average person can still benefit a lot from lifting weights, even if you don't want to get super big and bulky. And by the way, it doesn't necessarily make you super big and bulky. You know, it depends on the amount of reps that you do, how much protein you eat, and all kinds of other factors. However, the point of this video is just to say that lifting weights is good for everyone. We should all be doing it. And when I used to work at bodybuilding.com, I would get a lot of women who called in to ask for nutrition and weightlifting and fitness advice. And they would talk about how they don't want to get too bulky. You know, they want to stay lean and thin, and they're worried that if they lift weights, they're going to get super bulky and not have that lean look that they want. And of course, some men are also concerned about that. Well, don't be concerned about that because first of all, if you're a human female, you probably most of the time don't produce enough testosterone to get super huge and bulky anyway without some kind of help, without eating tons of protein and possibly even taking some kind of supplements or some kind of hormones. It's not really that likely that you're going to get bulky. You'd have to work super hard and it still might not even work. So the amount of weightlifting that you're going to do is probably not going to make you super big and bulky if you're a woman. So you don't have to worry about that. On the other hand, when you lift weights at least 2 or 3 times a week, it helps prevent osteoporosis. It does keep you leaner because when your muscles are working and tearing and getting a little bigger and growing, and you're working out those muscles, you're actually burning calories for at least a day or two after your workout as well. So it's kind of a continual burn of calories. Whereas when you do aerobic exercise, you're basically only burning calories during that time when you're exercising. And so weightlifting is good for a lot of reasons, not just to get super bulky, but also definitely for your health. And we should all be lifting weights. If you think of exercise as just doing cardio or aerobics, I want you to shift that to also including weightlifting at least a little bit. And we can all get like a couple of 25 or 20-pound dumbbells and put them in the living room and just lift weights 2 or 3 days a week. It's not that much of a burden. And here's another cool thing about lifting weights. You can do a really solid 10 or 20-minute weightlifting session that gives you a ton of health benefits that you can get by doing 10 minutes of cardio or 20 minutes of aerobics. And so it's actually saving you time if you incorporate weightlifting into your exercise and fitness routine. And so again, I think that the benefits of lifting weights are there for every single human being, and we should all be doing it to some degree. So add some resistance training to your routine. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you don't have to do it forever to get benefits. Again, if you just lift weights 2 or 3 days a week, you don't have to do it 6 or 7 days a week. You don't have to be a professional bodybuilder. You can just do some curls, do some lat pulls, whatever it is, do some legs, do some squats with weights. Do something with weights, and there's tons of videos on YouTube you can watch about how to do it. If you're not sure what to do, you can hire a trainer if you can afford it one time just to show you those exercises so you're not intimidated when you go to the gym. You can buy some dumbbells and just do it at home if you want. It's not that hard or scary to add resistance training, and so we should stop resisting resistance training, and everyone should do it, and especially women, because it does help protect from osteoporosis and other things that women tend to get more than men. And so this is important for everyone. And having said that, a new study also shows that lifting weights just for 1 or 2 hours every week can help prevent obesity. So before, researchers kind of found out that doing aerobic exercise or eating a certain way, those things can clearly prevent obesity and help you fight gaining a lot of weight and the side effects of that unhealthy weight gain. Well, now scientists have also shown that lifting weights just for 1 or 2 hours a week can also actually prevent obesity. Not just like once someone already reaches a certain weight, it can help you lose weight, obviously. So, resistance training and cardio and all that kind of stuff can help someone lose weight. It can also prevent you from gaining weight as well. And I think that's really cool because we didn't know that before. So let's take a look at this article from Eat This, Not That. New study reveals the side effects of lifting weights just 2 times per week. Yeah, you don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger for this to work for you. That's the cool thing. Don't think about it in such a big way. Just get started with it. Do 5 minutes a couple times a week if that's all you can do at first. Just start doing a little bit. And then once you're kind of in the routine, you can add more and do more as much as you're comfortable with. Don't start out trying to work out 6 days a week and become an Olympic weightlifter. You don't have to do that, and that usually doesn't work for people. But you can add 5 minutes on Tuesday and 5 minutes on Thursday. I'm going to do some arm curls. Start with that if you have to. Just get started, and then you can kind of increase your skill in how you do it over time. So just start small because it's really, really beneficial to us in a lot of ways. They say that researchers show why strength training should be at the top of your anti-obesity to-do list. So this helps fight obesity as well, which is a big problem in the West. And actually, that problem is spreading to a lot of other places as well. I lived in Thailand for a while, and they're actually starting to have a lot of problems with obesity as well, surprisingly enough. People tend to be a little smaller and thinner there than maybe you would see in the West, but now that obesity problem is also spreading. So this becomes more and more important for the entire world the longer we live and the more access we have to food and resources. So definitely start lifting some weights if you're not already. The benefits to strength training are almost too numerous to name. For starters, stronger muscles mean stronger bones. Yep. Stronger and more flexible joints, better balance, and of course, a leaner figure. As you gain muscle, your body begins to burn calories more easily, making it easier to control your weight. Yeah. Explain the folks at American Cancer Society. And also, I have to say, I'm not sure because I'm not a female, but as a male, when you're working out and you kind of feel stronger, you actually tend to feel more naturally confident as well. Not like cocky or arrogant, just like, oh, okay, I can handle the challenges of life. And I think that's really beneficial to anyone. Again, I can't speak for all genders, but as a male, it definitely helps with male confidence. And I'm sure it helps with confidence of any human being. So it also has psychological effects. And it's a nice cycle because once you start feeling more confident, then you want to take care of yourself more. And then you do a little more lifting weights and you get a little bit more specific about it. And so this can be a kind of virtuous cycle as well. After all, having less muscle means your body will have less mitochondria, the tiny energy burners in your cells, which will result in a weakened metabolism. So lifting weights increases your metabolism because you get more mitochondria when you have bigger muscles. Now, a new study published in June in PLOS Medicine reveals how weight training as little as twice per week can benefit your body and specifically your waistline for the long term. So then it goes on to say, although many people know that aerobic exercise like brisk walking or jogging can help prevent obesity, it's not clear whether resistance exercises can also help prevent obesity, write the study authors, led by a team from Iowa State University. This study was conducted to determine the relationship between resistance exercise, which is lifting weights, and the risk of developing obesity, even after accounting for participation in aerobic exercise. So even if you're doing cardio/aerobic exercise already, adding weight training to your regimen actually still has positive effects for you that go beyond just doing aerobic exercise. Put simply, the study sought to figure out how effective weight training was alone, independent of aerobic exercises, as a preventative measure against obesity. And then it goes on to say, here's what the study discovered. Boiling it down, the researchers discovered that people who weight trained several times per week were at 20 to 30% less risk of becoming obese later on. So it reduces your chance of becoming obese by 20 to 30% if you are doing resistance training just several times per week. The study notes that the link between weightlifting and obesity was consistent among various subgroups and participants of all ages. Compared with no resistance training at all, those who lifted for 1 to 2 hours per week enjoyed the lowest risk of developing obesity, suggesting that additional amounts of weightlifting might not be necessary to help prevent obesity. So if you're just talking about obesity, if you just lift weights for 1 or 2 hours per week, that's going to lower the chance of becoming obese, which is awesome because obesity has a lot of negative side effects for our health. So if you think about like eating green vegetables, aerobic exercise, etc., in terms of what being healthy means, add resistance training to that because lifting weights is a huge part of being healthy. We need to use our muscles and use our bodies for it to stay healthy like anything else. You got to use it or you lose it. And because we live in a world where we don't have to do a lot of manual work, most of us, some people do, of course, but most of us can kind of sit in our car and sit in our desk and sit in our car again and go to the store and barely walk at all when we're at the store and get help to our car with the groceries and etc. It's not that hard for most people in Western countries, especially the United States, to not move very much in general. So unfortunately, we're at the point of our history where we kind of have to force ourselves to move around. And lifting weights and using our muscles is part of that. A lot of us don't use it very much. And if you just do that for 1 or 2 hours a week, you are going to reduce your chances of becoming obese and you're going to be healthier. And that's the whole point of this article. The study notes that the current activity guideline recommendations of engaging in weight training on 2 days per week, as noted by the CDC, are entirely sound and accurate. So you just need to do it a couple of days a week. I like to do it 3 or 4. You can do just 2 days. It's not that big of a deal. If you don't like weightlifting that much, just do it for an hour or 2 or 1 or 2 days a week. Do some curls, do some squats, do some basic weightlifting exercises, and you're going to get those health benefits. And again, you don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or a UFC fighter in order to get the benefits of weight training. And then the article goes on to back me up when it says that, as the study notes, you don't have to be a hardcore gym rat to enjoy the benefits of strength training. And as fitness pros have routinely noted, you can reap the benefits of strength training at home using only your body weight and gravity. So if you can't even afford a pair of 20-pound dumbbells, you can still use gravity and your own body weight for resistance training. You don't even have to lift actual weights. You can just use your body, and there's YouTube videos that explain how to do that, which is great. Or perhaps just dumbbells, like I recommend. And so the whole point of this is we already know that lifting weights has a ton of health benefits. I strongly encourage you to do it, especially if you're a woman. A lot of women don't kind of consider it, and more women are considering it now than before. But all women should do it, all men should do it, all people should do it. It's a great thing for our health. And now we know that it also helps prevent obesity, not just lose weight if you already have some pounds that we want to shed. And so please find a way to include weightlifting into your weekly routine, especially if you're someone like me who's from the West and our lifestyles are pretty sedentary in general. So I highly encourage you to lift weights at least a little bit because science says we should. And with that, I'm Jim Wolf. I post a new video like this every day at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you tomorrow morning for another interesting topic as well. I'm going to go lift some weights now. Actually, that's not true. That's going to be later this afternoon, but you get the point.